Hello and welcome to Africa Soka Podcast. My name is Gabe, and it's nice to be with you again today to talk about Afro Soka. And here we always will talk about African football in our own special way, and that's why we call it Afro Soka. Today we'll be talking quite a bit about the WAFCON, that's the Women African Nations Cup of Nations, that ended in Morocco. Obviously, we all know that the Super Falcons of Nigeria ended up beating the Moroccans, who were the host of the competition, 3 goals to two, coming up from 2 goals. Because if you remember, the Moroccans were 2 goals for the good before the Super Falcons showed their true color and came back smoking, winning that tournament 3-2. We're going to be looking at obviously reviewing what happened in that particular match and obviously the competition itself. So I'm not alone today. I've got my good friends, my colleagues, Graham and Betty joining us. Betty obviously joining us because we're going to be talking a fair bit about the women's football in Africa. And aside that, we'll also be talking about Chan. That's the sort of like Team B African Cup of Nations. So it's for like the home base teams in Africa. That's going to be taking place in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. So that's kicking off August the 2nd. I think Nigeria is playing against Zanzibar today in the final warm-up match. We'll be giving you updates about that game and probably the scores. Before I go further, let me bring in my colleagues, Graham, and if guys don't mind me if you hear me saying Charlie all the time, yeah? So it's just the way we call each other. Graham, welcome to the show, and obviously Betty, if you're also ready, you're welcome to the show. Like I said, it's going to be a loaded package today, and it'd be good to hear not just about the Super Falcons. I'll also be it'd be interesting to also hear about the Black Queens of Ghana and obviously what's been happening to Ghana football. To start with, let me bring the lady in first because I like
Yeah, I mean, the lady starts first. Let the
yeah,
lady
yeah,
start
yeah,
first because
they always say ladies first,
you
innit?
know the ladies first.
Ladies first. So it's ladies first.
Yeah.
Betty, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining
Thank
us.
you. Thank you
Um,
so much.
yeah, I want to pick your brains about the first. If you want to talk about the finals of the WAFCON, the Nigerian team playing against the Moroccan team. What was your assessment? What was your review, and probably highlight of that very game before we go into the Black Queens?
I think the Super Falcons have been a force to reckon with when it comes to the Women Africa Cup of Nations. I mean, over the years, they've been the most, they've won the most titles, 10 titles in all the 13 editions. So it was obvious from the beginning because of the kind of team they came with. And if you look at the Nigerian setup, it mostly look like they are now targeting most of the Nigerian players that are based abroad. So these are players that are more exposed. They have played in bigger leagues. They've seen it all when it comes to competitions that are tough. And so the setup of the Super Falcons was really a great setup. When I saw their team and how they played, I was like, if even Ghana is supposed to meet Nigeria in the finals, Nigeria will win the tournament. Although I'm a Ghanaian, I admit it because they played with some sort of more experience. Their setup is very compact. Their defense is good enough to hold up. And so it wasn't surprising when they were able to beat the home team, Morocco. You know, Morocco, the home team had that support. Anytime that Morocco is playing, the stadium is filled to capacity. And that
Mm-hmm.
can be very intimidating to anyone that they are playing with. The
Yep.
chant and all that is very intimidating. And
Mm-hmm.
aside that, there have been instances where it has been rumored that referees have not been fair when they are playing against the home side.
Yeah.
Also, Morocco over the years have really built a strong football, not only for their women's side, but as a country, they've really built a very strong football setup
Yeah.
across board. and they are really on a tangent that to make sure that they become a force to reckon with when it comes to African football. And so, in terms of investment, in terms of making sure they get the needed resources, they are there. So, I mean, what surprised me the most was the fact that Nigeria was able to come out of that 2 when they were down by 2, and they were able to come because, I mean, I knew that Nigeria can match the Moroccans boot for boot in the finals. But then 2 goals down, and they were able to revert that into 3, 2-3. To win the tournament was what really amazed me. And I must say that kudos to Nigeria. I said it the last time that it looked like 2025 is a good year for Nigeria because their men won a tournament in London not too long ago.
They won the Unity Cup.
Yeah, the Unity Cup. And I mean, unfortunately, their World Cup campaign has not been really smooth. But then they have qualified for the.
I know you were definitely going to bring that up, Betty, and I'm going to let you. I'm going to let you. Yeah.
Yeah, they've qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations. Ghana is not appearing, and now their women are winning. I mean, they've won the women AFCON tournament, and so it's really been a good year for Nigeria. And kudos to them. I think that I've watched quite videos of the girls jubilating at the start of and the other girls. I mean, all in a jubilant mood, and I must say that it was a very, very a tough game in the finals, and as expected, this is how finals are supposed to look like, not boring. So it was something that I expected, though.
Thank you, Graham, Charlie. Betty mentioned that they said, 2025 seems to be the year for the Nigerians. I mean. Well, she's chipped in, and probably I know she was having a go at Nigeria. Why say in the World Cup, Nigeria is not really doing well in the World Cup, or so far all the qualifiers they've not been doing well. But she said something about 2025. Super Eagles won the Unity Cup. You and I were at a competition all through the Unity Cup. We were actually expecting Nigeria Ghana final, but it wasn't to be. It's Nigeria Jamaica, and are we going to see Super Eagles triumph at the African Cup of Nations in Morocco in December? Betty's already set the ball rolling, saying Super Eagles, Nigeria, this is the time for Nigeria. So are we going to see that?
I mean, when the game started, basically, I was looking at this from a point of view where the Moroccans did a very dirty job on Nigeria the last time both teams met. And so I termed it a revenge, a huge one. So when the Moroccans were up by 2 goals, I was like, Nigeria can't just, fall just like that. However, the comeback was sublime. I mean, basically, it was just like they have really worked hard for it. And I said to someone that I looked at the Nigerian team and I felt that they were well prepared for the competition as compared to the previous one. The Moroccans didn't look sharper as they used to be in the previous AFCON. I saw the first game against Zambia, and that really gave me that assumption that they were not going to really be the main team to surprise anyone. I was again surprised with the Black Queens anyway. I felt that they were not too well prepared, but they kind of like surprised me a lot in terms of their performance. But let me be honest with you. Winning the WAFCON for the 10th time and having to see a tweet from Bola Ahmed Tinubu saying that, well, they understood the assignment. They understood the assignments.
Yes.
And
mission accomplished.
I just wanted to understand what assignment, because he was very emphatic. He understood the assignment.
It was easy. The assignment was mission X, mission 10.
Yeah. So I want to understand what's the mission X.
To win the WAFCON 10 times. And they've done it.
Oh, okay.
That was the assignment, and they got it, and they've been rewarded for it now.
Yeah. So it was more like they understood the assignment, and they won it. But I didn't see that from the onset, because typically Nigerians will start the hashtags and all those things, but I didn't really see that until after they won it, and I saw
No. That was the hashtag.
There was.
In the social media, in the socials, where I mean, the hashtag Mission 10, Mission X was all over. I mean, it was just like, this is the mission, girls. You've won it 9 times, so why not make it 10? All right, so that's the mission, and obviously that was what the president was saying, was talking about when he now said, well, this is mission accomplished. But
Because honestly, I think I really, it was, maybe it wasn't loud enough for me, as knowing Nigeria, and how normally you take control
and
of
our
something.
loudness.
Yeah. But I think I particularly, I didn't see Oshola too much in this competition. I don't know why.
Yes, and that's the conversation we probably would have at some point,
I,
where some
yeah.
people are saying maybe this is beginning, this is going to be more like the twilight for Asisa Shwala. But when she came back in an interview she granted right after that match, that final match, and said, "Listen, I ain't going nowhere, guys. If you think I'm going, I ain't going nowhere. I still remain Asisa. As long as my team, my country wants me, I'm gonna heed the call, and I'm gonna come. I'm gonna do what I need to do."
I'm happy for Ajibade. The last time she was very great, but again, maybe I didn't. Maybe the last WAFCON I was in Morocco, so sort of I followed. I commentated on most of the games of Nigeria, and maybe this time I didn't really pay attention to the players. But more or less like I didn't see Odega. I mean, one of my brightest players in the Nigerian side. I don't know whether she was called up or she didn't play a critical role there. But I felt that maybe there was a little bit of tweaking, so I didn't get to see the flavor of the team. But whichever way it is, they've won it 10 times. And I remember the last time someone said, it's becoming boring. It's becoming boring.
Because Nigerians are winning it, yeah?
Yeah. So the last time when South Africa won, it was more like, yeah, now we have a different winner, because it was becoming boring. And now Nigeria wins it again, 10 times. For marketing purposes, you sit back and like, is it competitive? Because you have one team winning for 10 times. I mean, you begin to question and you begin to wonder whether it gives, but you can't blame Nigeria, neither can you fault anybody. I mean, that's women's football. They've been solid from early 1990s. Nigeria's been the foremost teams with Ghana, competing at the Women's World Cup, playing amongst themselves. Anytime you hear women's football, back in the day, it was Ghana, Nigeria, until we saw Cameroon and later on Tunisia and some other teams coming in. So it has all been Ghana, Nigeria, but I think it's been more of Nigeria and later on Ghana. So let's not kid ourselves. But going forward, I'm saying that from a marketing perspective, I'm looking for competitiveness. So if it's not Nigeria, maybe South Africa or Ghana or Cameroon or Morocco. I mean, this one wins it this year, this one wins. But 9 times, you begin to ask, how competitive is it? The last WAFCON, I saw Botswana in there. Everybody felt like the Southern African teams are also coming up. But you're not getting that flavor. So there was Uganda. This time, you didn't feel that. There was Zambia. Yes, Zambia, one of the powerhouses, not really competing this time. But I think we'd have to give credit to the managers of the Nigerian football, especially women's football. They've been amazing. Absolutely, they've been amazing.
And I tell you this, I think I'm one of those, when watching that final that day, when the Moroccans were like 2 goals up, I was thinking, that's it. I just switch off the TV. I said, well, that's it. Morocco's won. I've actually will give kudos to the Moroccans, because they came out with a game plan, but the problem was, I think they ran out of gas, and probably I've been leading 2-0. They probably felt, oh yeah, we've done the job, and they underestimated the Nigerians, because what the Nigerians really did then after that time was, and kudos to the coaching crew. They went in and they recessed everything, and for, you know what, guys, we can still do this. We can still win. I thought they believe, and I would have loved to be the fly on the wall in the dressing room that day to see what was spoken, and if I had the opportunity to probably talk to the coach, that's what probably would ask him. What did you say to the girls? Because it was like they came out and they became a different animal when they came out in second half, and the pressure actually obviously. You paid off with that penalty scored by Esther, and then the other 2 goals. Let me, Charlie, I'm still going to ask you this question, because Betty already said this is the year of the Nigerians, and you haven't said anything about that. before you say, say something. Say something.
No, I mean, you know what? I can only conclude after the chant competition. I can only say that after the chant competition because we are not done yet. Yes, we're not done yet. And I can only speak on that after you qualify for the World Cup.
Yeah, here we go. He put us all back into reverse now. But listen, we're going to
no way. No, because you said a year. You said a year.
Yeah.
You said a year. So the Unity Cup, the women's, but there are two more top competitions coming up. You have the Chan coming up. Then there's a World Cup qualifier. This is huge. You know what? If you guys don't qualify for the World Cup, tell you what, if you guys don't qualify for the World Cup, you know what's going to happen in Nigeria. You know what's going to happen. So finish that, and then I can say that the year is done. Nigeria is done.
All right. We'll let that rest for now. I'm all I'll say. 1st January 2026. I'll be calling you on the phone to say, all right, come on, man, what's going on? Yeah, Betty, I said it, and it's happened. Betty, listen, black. I mean, there's no way we can conclude a conversation about the WAFCON without talking about the Black Queens.
Yeah,
they had, personally, I think they had a fantastic tournament. They won the bronze medal, and at some point, and Graham will say, we'll confirm this several times. When Ghana is playing, I'll send him a text message on WhatsApp and say, Charlie, what's going on? What's going on? Do you think this is going to happen? Do you think it's going to happen? But they made it out of the group. You know, they made it past the quarterfinals, and today they are like third best team in Africa. What do you think happened in the group stages to start with, and how did it change for them to be third in Africa?
Well, I don't know why I am quite indifferent about the Black Queen's success at the WAFCON, because they are not minnows when it comes to African football. Definitely. So, as someone that have actually followed the Black Queens for a while, for a long time, I expected more from the Black Queens. I want to see Black Queens rubbing shoulder with Nigeria. If not anything, I want to see Black Queens and Nigeria at the final, battling it boot for boot and making it difficult. Like, I just want to see that kind of football between the Black Queens and the Super Falcons. What I witnessed at the WAFCON, it's like I am praising some mediocrity. This is not the kind of Black Queens I am envisaging. This is not the kind of Black Queens I want to see. And I think that over the years, talent has depleted in the Black Queens, because anytime there've been some internal conflict, it ends up a good player being castigated, or a good player being banished from the team for whatsoever reason. So we've lost quite a number of our good players who used to form they were like the team. They were the fulcrum of the team. And now we have lost those players. So it's most like now we have young players. It looks more like we are starting afresh. Most of the players that we saw that were assembled for that assignment are players that were from the under-20 team that have been promoted to the Black Queens. And so you wouldn't get that kind of you wouldn't get a good tournament from them.
Yep.
And now I think our management are now looking at going to abroad to fish out Ghanaian players that are doing well.
No, Nigeria set up a template for other African countries.
I think that's what they are doing now, and it would help, because most of these players, like Chantel, some of these players that are playing abroad, they are the ones that actually helped us in this campaign, because the talents we have currently are not good enough. They are not really exploring as I was expecting to see. In fact, when the tournament started at the group stage, many thought that, I mean, on social media, lots were saying, oh, the Black Queens are doing well, they played the best. But to me, it was not the best, because this is not where, as Graham said, now it's looking more like Nigeria. But in the 80s and the 90s, when we talk of African women football, it's Nigeria and Ghana. So why can't Ghana be in the same boat with Nigeria? Why can't we be, rubbing shoulder with Nigeria? Why should we settle for some medal when we are unable to win the ultimate? Why should we be excited and then there'll be a whole band at the airport playing and dancing and welcoming the girls when we could have won the ultimate? I think it's been, and we've gotten to a time that we should pay more attention to getting it right with women football when it comes to, Ghana. The Black Queens over the years, there have been so many issues with the setup, issues with their pay diem, issues with management, issues with coaching. And I think that the current GFA, they are doing their best, putting up a solid management team, because some time ago, when you talk about even a coach for the Black Queens, it was a whole discussion on its own. But I think now they are making sure that they put together a good technical department. Okay. Now, while we are working on the technical team, let's also work on the team itself, because they are the ones that are going to play on the field. And this internal politics and internal conflict that has sent a lot of our good players out of the team should end. Because imagine Nigeria, Assistant Oshola or Graham, your player,
Odega, okay.
Yes, has an issue with management and it's not solved internally. And because of that, or Assistant is asked to be out, to be excused from the team. It's an issue, because no matter what, she is Assistant. She's good at what she does. And so I think these internal conflicts and these issues have actually sent a lot of good Black Queens players out of the team. And now we are starting afresh. And when we go and then we are third or second, we are extremely happy, because Ghana is third at the WAFCON level, and this is not our level.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you did say something though, that this is a crop of young players that come from Black Princess, I suppose, and then graduating into that big shoes that have been kept there by the Black Queens, and even though these young players have done their bit, they've actually done really. Personally, I think they've done really well, because I never actually really knew that most of them were on the 20 team. Now they're stepping into the main team, into the Black Queens and shoes, and they won the bronze medal for you. I think for me personally, I think it's a step in the right direction, and I do believe that in the next AFCON, if you keep the same team together,
that is the issue. If is what is my problem. Because we can do it now, and then in the next AFCON, it becomes a different story. So if we are able to keep them, because we are always going back to the drawing board, and that is the issue. Anytime we are able to get to this stage, we are all excited. But then we start all over again. And if you continue starting all over again, it will get to a point, Morocco will be far gone, Cameroon will be far gone, all these all these countries that when we started football, they were nowhere to be found, will be far gone. And then we are still always going back and back and back and back. So no two ways about it. The players, they are very young, from Black Princesses to Black Queens, playing at this stage. Some of them are even playing in the local league in Ghana. And so playing at this stage and winning that medal, it's a good step in the right direction. But then I'm hoping that we are able to work on these players, maintain them, and then get a better performance from them in our next WAFCON. So the if is my issue, and I'm just advocating that it will get to a time that these players will be well prepared, well trained. There wouldn't be another issue that we have to sack these players and then start all over again, and then we will still be dragging back every time. So the if is my concern.
Okay, Graham, the if. Nowadays there seems to be that influx of money in women's soccer, in women's football. The winners, the Falcons, went away with $1 million, and I think the Black Queens also got a huge chunk of money as for the third. Yeah, okay, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, it's we always talk about parity when it comes to sports, parity between men and women sports. But it's a start. I see it as a start. So Ghana's got this money. Nigeria's got $1 million now. All right, Ghana's got that much money. Could that much money be now pumped in to organizing the local league, organizing the structure, even before the local league, the structure itself, the machinery to producing constant young players, making more football attractive, making sports attractive to those young girls, so that there's this machinery there that will constantly production outfit that will constantly produce people into the national teams. Do you think, as it is in Nigeria, it is also in Ghana, and can we use this money to do what we should be using it for?
I mean, we always tell people that we need to first and foremost open the arguments. One, even when it comes to UEFA, FIFA women's football, what's the support level like? FIFA and UEFA are still complaining. They sometimes need to give out free tickets, have charity organizations come in before they can have probably a powerhouse game, until maybe you're talking about England, Spain, England, Switzerland, and all those things that you can have a sizable number of, fans.
Yeah.
Secondly, even if you come down to where we are in UK, Man United, Liverpool, what's the support like for women's football? I mean, these big clubs have women's football, but let's look at a typical match day for women's football. It's not comparable to that of the men's game, even though some of the matches are live on Sky Sports and stuff like that. But the attention isn't as big as you would have to know, or you have to see when it comes to men's football. That's the disparity. That's the discrimination. You cannot run away from the fact. Tickets. I mean, these big clubs are trying to even come down in terms of ticket sales to get more people to come and watch. But it is not as big as that. Even women themselves would like to go and watch the men's game than that of the women's game. I've had to speak to some women that tell that I enjoy men's game than women's game. And that's the reality. Women, sometimes they say that they are their own enemies. They are not even coming in. No way. I'm just saying this. Sorry.
It's not about women not supporting. Women football.
I'm just saying this, that one, how men, we are passionate about our game and we put in a lot of effort just to go. I'm not seeing that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not seeing that.
We are equally passionate about our game, but how many? But on a scale of 1 to 10, how many women?
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. That is the problem.
About the love for the game.
Let me be honest.
Follow football. The percentage of men that don't watch football are few, and the percentage of women that watch football, they are few. So
perfect. So here you are. There's been a lot of effort from FIFA. There's been a lot of effort from UEFA to get women to embrace the game. There's been a lot of effort to even get lots of women icons. Even Nigeria, Ghana, how many of our iconic figures, celebrities, have passionately gone into women's football by way of saying, Nigeria's won the women's AFCON 10 times. I want to see the Nigerian celebrities, the top movie, wearing the Super Falcons jerseys all over social media, TikTok, making so much. I didn't see that. I didn't. So I'm saying that in terms of the support, even if the men are not even doing that, I am not seeing the assertive effort from the women also coming in to say that we are supporting this mantra. I mean, where did we get this mantra, Ubuntu, from South Africa and all those things coming in? Just because we wanted to see how women can go in. I mentioned the last time we had a meeting about the grannies football. And I mentioned that for me, that is my starting point for marketing of women's football. And this is something that is happening in Southern Africa, where you have ladies in their 50s, 60s, and 70s playing football. There's a Granny's World Cup. How many of our women even know there's Granny's World Cup? Where the last edition, which was held in April, it was USA that won. So there is another style of market, and I was even expecting CAF to even find a way to incorporate Granny's football into a certain structure and saying that, listen, these guys are trying to support women's football even at their age by way of playing. So the women's WAFCON, I'm expecting CAF to even invite the Grannies football team from the USA, from Africa, and then let the world know that women's football is so much evolved that even our mothers have embraced it. But I didn't see that. That was what I was waiting for. That CAF should incorporate that and say, listen, we'll support Grannies football and see how best we can, encourage. That is the starting point of the support I'm looking at. But like I said, the money that's coming, NFL will take their share. Don't get me wrong. The GFA will take a share. Don't get me wrong. Because remember, preparation and whatever that the women did before the competition, government sponsored, and government must recoup.
Yep.
That is the difference. So certainly, some part of the money will have to go to government so that they can then say that they are spreading the money to other areas for women development. As whether the money gets there or not, you and I cannot question. Okay. So that is the difference here. Now, how many, if you like, pitches or women football teams in Nigeria? Who are the owners? What has been the structure and support? How are they recruiting the ladies? All these things are there. And then, of course, the ladies will tell you there's a word for it. The stereotype. If you're a woman, you're playing football, the society looks at you in a certain way. You go to school, even school women's football. I mean, we see a lot of activities, but we don't even encourage women to play football because your place. There's still the stereotype. You play football, you can't give birth, you can't marry, you can't do this and all those stereotypes. It's still there. If you go to North Africa, they found a way to even get players, the little academies. They have the Rabats and the rest. They have the women's football. And that they play the league. They even come and pick our ladies from West Africa to go and play for them. So there's a lot of work we need to do when it comes to marketing, promotion, and all those things when it comes to women's football. And concluding, the other point is that I've also seen a trend from our point of view, and Betty can help me out on this. Nigeria, Ghana is beginning to what I call the plug and play. The plug and play is that you identify players from outside who have this Nigerian, Ghanaian descent and go and bring them home to come and play. So Nigeria is doing the same. Plumtie is there. And I'm sure there are other names that are also coming up. Ghana has gone in for Chantel. And I feel when it comes to women's football, I don't have a problem in the sense that there's a competitive women's league in the UK with lots of, for instance, then look at the England team. There was a Ghanaian, Ajiman, who became the heroine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're competitive.
By the way, it's too late for Ghana to get her now.
No.
It's too late.
You should have made your move a year ago.
Yeah. So I'm saying that there are a lot of Nigerians, a lot of Ghanaians playing for Bristol City and all those things who really want to get into the Lionesses and they cannot. Mm-hmm. But it is easy for them to migrate back home and play for the Super Falcons and the Black Queens. And they'll be good for African football because of the experience and exposure they've had in the women's league here in the UK and in Switzerland and other places. Mm-hmm. So I would encourage that and then fuse that, because remember, we still have the under 17, under 20 women's football. That's the grassroots, that's the juvenile level. But when it comes to the Falcons and the Black Queens, they cannot migrate fully into that level. So then that's when you come in and bring these players who are struggling to get into the Lionesses team but would want to play football. Maybe, Planta came in.
So Africa is the dumping site, yeah?
It's not a dumping side, but Nigeria is benefiting from what's the name? Plantai. Nigeria has benefited so much from Plantai. Ghana is benefiting from Chantel and Obonsu and the rest. And I'm saying that it is to the benefit if they are good and cannot get to the Lionesses team, and the African continent in WAFCON is going to see that, listen, we've got talent. Why not? For me, women's football, yes, I'm okay.
Even our Black Stars are doing the same anyway. So.
Exactly. Same as the Super Eagles. And another school of thought might probably look at it this way. Maybe if we individually back home in our various African countries cannot build icons from our local girls or our local boys, maybe if we not get them of Nigerian descent, of Ghanaian descent, of Cameroonian descent, from England, from France, from Switzerland, from anywhere, from the US, to come back home, and then the foreign media then decide to start building that icon for us, maybe that might probably make competitions like WAFCON more interesting in the future. Maybe then the international organizations, international partnership, and international businesses, because they are now beginning to see people they've brought up, in quotes, because they've grown up in other European or American countries. Maybe because they will now see them as sort of a commodity we can invest in. If the Africans are not willing to do that, then yeah, we can probably see the next WAFCON, instead of $1 million, might probably go to $2 million or $5 million.
So I want to ask this question.
Yeah.
So then, what happens to the talents that we are grooming at home? What happens to them? What kind of motivation do they get?
That's why I said those kind of monies that have been received, okay, that Nigeria's received, Morocco's received, Ghana's received from this competition. I mean, a clever person in these associations, football associations, what they would do is go back home and start building that foundation, okay? Build that structure with this kind of money and encourage, like Graham said, encourage things like Mama's World Cup, for example. The key thing is this. We need to make football, we need to make sports interesting for people to start accepting it. If you don't make it interesting, I mean, look at the Premier League. I always use the Premier League as an example. I mean, the English would always say it, and arguably anywhere in the world, it's the biggest football league in the world. Arguably, why? It's because of they've made it so interesting that other people from all parts of the world now want to come and play in the English Premier League. Saudi Arabia has got the money. Okay, why would people want to turn down Saudi Arabia where there's money? I want to come play in England where there's probably lesser money. It's just because of the appeal. Okay, the English have made it so appealing that everyone wants to play in the Premier League. Why don't we borrow a leaf or just look at that structure and probably try to emulate it and copy it? There's nothing wrong in copying if it works for you. Why can't we send our people from wherever, from Ghana, from Cote d'Ivoire, from Nigeria, from Gabon, see how these things work, and then copy the template and go use it back home? That's the problem. That's the problem. That's the issue I think we need to tackle head on. We need to make sports interesting in Africa for people to get that interest in it. But anyway, listen, we've talked about WAFCON for like 40 minutes. I did say we were going to talk about Chan that is starting in 2 days time. Charlie, Graham, we are looking at WAFCON. Sorry, not WAFCON. The Chan that is starting. And we've seen what's happening in Morocco with the WAFCON. We've seen Morocco go all the way to the final. And do you see this trend continuing? You see trends like the so-called lesser footballing nations in Africa. No disrespect to them now, going all the way to do wonders in this competition.
Football has evolved in a way that CAF introduced the regional competition. There are these schools of thought that sometimes says that the regional football sometimes eliminates big teams, as compared to round robin level. So, for instance, Nigeria will eliminate Ghana, or Ghana would eliminate Nigeria, and so you probably in West Africa you're going to have maybe Ghana sometimes going. You go to Southern Africa, depending on how it is played, you might even get other teams. But for me, it's just the CHAN competition has come to stay in a way that I still feel it hasn't really been that big as compared to how a lot of people expect it to be. Because maybe the marketing level, like you mentioned, the feeling hasn't been built. the way it should be. The last CHAN competition, I'm sure when you ask a lot of people, they might probably have forgotten who won it and stuff like that. And yeah, basically. So that was the golden era of Senegal. They won at 17, they beat Soka, they won at 20, they won the CHAN, and of course the big ones. But
just like Nigeria, we win everything this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Finally, he agrees. He agrees. Finally.
I'm just saying that. Yeah. I know the Nigerian team can surprise because I saw them at the Unity Cup, and majority of the players are those that played at the Unity Cup. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm yet to see that of Niger. I'm yet to see that of Morocco. I'm yet to see that of Sudan. I'm yet to see Guinea, very tough side. Uganda, one of the host countries. Angola, Kenya, for instance. South Africa. Let's not kid ourselves. Algeria. You Zambia as well, and DR Congo. So these are teams that can come with a surprise. Central African Republic, Mauritania, all of these countries can spring a surprise. But I'm not dwelling much on them because I'm looking at the big names basically. And the first day of the competition starts, and that's where you get to know. I feel I might want to look at Morocco. I might pick Nigeria. I might pick Senegal. Then obviously I would want to see South Africa also in there. I don't know much about Algeria though, but I'm not going to bang my hopes on them. But for me, if you ask me, Nigeria, Senegal, Morocco, South Africa, yes, I feel I should be able to see some change. But this is a competition that you get a lot of surprises. Absolutely, this is a competition you get a lot of surprises. But the big guns sometimes you want to prove their mettle, and it rightly so because these are players that are picked from the local leagues. And you know that if you're picking leagues that are very strong, is Senegal. Because of the academies, they seem to have a very strong local players, very talented players. Nigeria, obviously. The Nigerian league and Ghana league is the same. Let's not forget. But you've got talent. You see, guys, you surprise me. You surprise me big time. I don't know what is the problem with this. Have money.
I'm a Ghanaian, but I don't think the Ghanaian and the Nigerian league are the same.
Oh, you think so?
Graham, with the current state of the Ghana Premier League, I don't think it will be the same as the Nigerian.
You ask him. The level of the Nigerian league. Look at Nigeria. Corporate sponsorship wise. This is what I'm talking about. Corporate sponsorship wise.
I'm talking about competitive wise. I'm not talking about.
But the last some years ago, we had Ghanaian players playing for Enyimba, Kano players.
You have a couple of Ghanaian players actually in Nigeria.
Even still, we have some Ghanaian players who are in Nigeria.
I am saying this to make a point about how competitive we have not been in the CAF Champions League and Confederations Cup.
Okay.
True that.
And that's what I'm saying, that Ghana and Nigeria are the same. Because years ago, it was a Yimba. That was huge.
Yeah.
Jotex Frimpong, those times in the CAF Champions League.
Yeah.
You cannot talk about Champions League in CAF Champions League without talking about Yimba. You cannot.
Yeah.
Today, where is the Yimba? I think they are somewhere language somewhere. I don't even know where they are.
Yeah, so we've probably got new because last season was Remo Stars from Abeokuta.
Hold on. Is Remo Stars not a private team?
It is.
Ghana Premier League was won by an individual's team, Gold Stars. Where is Asante Kotoko? Where is Afro Soka? All these teams are dead. So I'm saying that we are the same. Siamese twins. You know how Siamese twins behave. They are the same.
We're always the same. Ghana and Nigeria.
that is the problem.
We're cut from the same cloth.
Absolutely. So I get worried. I'm like, if I can't see top Nigerian team, gone were the days when you talk about Kotoko, Hatsofo, Yimba. There was a Yimba in another team. I forgot the name.
Rangers.
There was a Yimba. What team?
Rangers.
Rangers
International.
Yes. And you would always
all the teams teams
you know
like that.
you in the CAF Champions League, the moment the lineup is done, it is going to be certainly Enyimba or Rangers, like you mentioned. Every time you would obviously get them there. Today, they are struggling. You mentioned Remo Stars. Who's going to pay attention to Remo Stars in the CAF Champions League? But you go to South Africa, there's Kaizer Chiefs, there's Sundowns, Ola. Do you know? Recently, Kotoko went to beat Kaizer Chiefs in Durban.
Yeah.
Then I just found out that Kaizer Chiefs actually Kotoko got to South Africa before Kaizer Chiefs arrived from their preseason trip of Holland and Belgium. Can you imagine Kaizer Chiefs going for preseason in Holland and Belgium?
Wow.
And they invited Kotoko to come and play them, and Kotoko from Ghana got to South Africa before they even came. Can you imagine? The visitor came to wait for the hosts.
Interesting.
And I'm saying that Kaizer Chiefs went on a preseason tour in Holland and Belgium. Do you know what that means to the psyche of the players and the whole structure of the league in South Africa and the team?
Is this what Kotoko has not done before?
Oh, where did they go? You don't tell me where did they go? Guys, listen, I'm saying that what I'm saying is that
where did they go?
The guys, we are losing it, and it's not funny. Like Nigeria, Ghana, top football clubs, we are losing it. It's not funny.
Yeah.
Listen, the investment in the Premier League in Nigeria, and listen. You know why I said I am surprised Nigeria? Listen, let's assume if I listen to the billionaires and millionaires in Nigeria, and I'm saying that these are Dangote cement, Dangote oil refining, and not even 5% of that money is invested into, say, football.
Can I bust the bubble a little bit? There were some of those billionaires that actually wanted to buy Arsenal Football Club in England.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
And there was
another one that
also bidded for. I'm not sure now.
There was one in my country. There was one guy in my country. He said he wants to buy Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was another one too. So also said wants to buy. I said we are struggling back home, and you are thinking of buying Chelsea. Are you kidding me?
That's what I'm saying about having a structure. Okay, it's taking England to build. Come on, Chelsea was founded what year? 1905.
In the 80s, yeah.
In 1905, it's taking them years to get to where they are at the moment. And I know, and again, it's all about making it interesting. I grew up in Nigeria where it was fashionable for you to go to places like Onikon Stadium to go watch stationery stores play against NEPA of Lagos. These are two teams in Lagos, by the way. I grew up in Nigeria where it was fashionable to go watch secondary schools play what we call cups back then. When my old schools and Fimbers College could play St. Gregory's College or Igbobi College or Baptist Academy. These are secondary school games that when you go and you feel like, oh my God, I want to feel this, all that is gone.
Yeah.
All that is gone. Everything that's been built over the years, all gone. Now people would rather go to a betting shop to go watch a Chelsea play a Man United. People back home in those betting shops probably know a lot more about Chelsea or Man United or Arsenal than the local team.
I'll just be honest with you. I slept around 3 a.m. You know why?
Yeah? You were watching Man United play. You were watching Man United play.
Bournemouth. I mean, I'm guilty. 3 a.m. I was just watching. And I had my friends, people were just awake back home in Ghana, texting and watching the game at that time.
Wow.
But this is me, and I'll be honest with you. If I'm not commentating in a Premier League, I'm not going to go to the stadium. Betty is.
So I think that with regards to the countries like Nigeria, Ghana, and all that, I think the quick fixes that we always do is hurting our local league. The quick fixes in the sense that, as Graham mentioned earlier, with regards to the women's football. And it's something that we are seeing in the male side as well. always going for already made players who are playing abroad. And this is hurting our local league because yet if you want to, we are attracted by what the EPL is doing. And this is something, as you said, it doesn't hurt if you want to copy them. Why don't we do that with our local league? I have always admired South Africa and Senegal because South Africa and Senegal, these two countries are really doing a lot, making sure they put so much resources, investment in their local league. South Africa has one of the strongest local leagues in Africa. Same as Senegal.
That's why the players don't want to go to Europe.
Yes. And they pay their players so well. I have two friends who were playing in in the South African league. And they were so comfortable there. They would tell me it's like playing in Europe. I know they were just exaggerating. But
sorry to cut you, don't go far. Recently, two of our top local league players, do you know where they are playing their football? Ethiopia. They are telling us that it is better. It is exciting. You know why? Because they are paying over $2,000 in a month. Ethiopia.
It will get to a point. Yes, South Africa might not be. You might not see them as it stands now. In terms of their national team, you might say, "Oh, Nigeria is there, Ghana is there," but it's a gradual process. As they are building the solid foundation, it will get to a point. Nigeria will struggle to beat South Africa at the Africa Cup of Nations level or any other tournament, even when they go to the World Cup, because if they continue Senegal, it is reflecting in their national team because they have a strong league back home. So I always say that the quick fixes, always making sure that, there is a player in this league, let's go, he's a Nigerian of Nigerian descent, it's of Ghanaian descent. It's good for branding and all that. But what are we also doing to our local league? Because as we are doing that, it is affecting our local league. We are not paying attention to our players. And now, when they are half cooked, they are not properly cooked. They run away and go and play outside because they think when they go, they will get the attention. Because when they are back home, they will not be able to get the opportunity to play in the national team. So a player is not really as good as he's supposed to be, and then quickly go to abroad, and then might not get the team that is needed, and their career dies just like that. So I think that for the CHAN tournament, one country that my Graham mentioned was Morocco, and he said he was expecting. Graham had been to Morocco, and he had seen how the kind of infrastructure that Morocco has actually put together, making sure that they start everything right from the scratch. 3 years ago, Morocco had put a lot of money in making sure that they get it right with their junior national teams and their league. Even after some time, was it 2 years ago, they made their under 17 and under 20 come to Ghana to come and play some international friendlies with our Ghana women teams, just because they want to gather that experience. So I think Morocco is also coming with regards to, getting the grassroots right. They are putting a lot of money in there. They are making sure that they get a solid foundation. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they also put some surprises. Obviously, at the World Cup, you all saw what Morocco did at the World Cup. And if it trickles down properly, I wouldn't be surprised what they can pull out at this year's CHAN tournament. But I always say that getting those players abroad is a good initiative, but it is hurting our local league, and in a way also hurting the CHAN tournament, because the CHAN tournament is the local league players that we are using to play the CHAN tournament. And if you are not getting the marketing or the branding or the attention, it's because the game is not becoming attractive. It's not competitive enough, because we are not getting the talent that we need at the local league level to play better football for it to be properly marketed.
You know that I'll come in at just 2 points. The interesting bit about the CHAN competition is that if you're a very good player in Nigeria and you've been penciled out to play in a CHAN competition and you end up signing for a club in Benin, that means that you are not going to CHAN.
No.
Because you're a foreign-based player. You're a foreign-based player. this is the argument that people have made that CAF should take out that lid and say that, listen, it's for players within the African continent.
Yeah.
But so because if you then say that it's for locally based players, and you probably are, let's assume you were selected for Chan, and there's a huge deal in say like what, Ghana, maybe Kotoko or anything comes around and says and you go, it means you're losing your place in a Chan competition. You can't go. So it's another mind-boggling argument that I think people have made, and I don't know if CAF is going to reconsider that and say that if you are playing your club football in Africa, then you have a chance. So that because there's a lot of migration within Africa for a lot of African players, and the chance is within Africa. So I don't know if that argument can also be made. Maybe we can champion it, emotion. But you made a point, Betty, about Morocco. I'll come back to the Siamese twins, the brothers, Ghana, Nigeria.
Ghana.
Which country first went to the quarterfinals of the World Cup? Which country? It wasn't Ghana. I think it was Cameroon. No, it was Cameroon. Remember? Oh, it's not Cameroon. Remember? Way back.
Yeah.
94 or something like that.
Yeah.
What is it?
Second round.
Yeah. Second round, yes.
Second round,
yeah.
And then Nigeria, right? Now this is how funny it is. So then their junior brother Ghana comes to the World Cup.
Nigerian junior brother.
At least when it comes to some things. Then we also go to the second round. Remember? Then we all come back excited. We've been to the quarterfinals. I mean, the first African country. Okay. So what is the plan for the World Cup? Oh, if you get to the quarterfinals, at least you've tried. If you go to the quarterfinals, you've tried. If you go to the quarterfinals, you've tried. It has been the language between Ghana and Nigeria. Oh, if you get to the quarterfinals, we've done well. Morocco goes in there, they are in the semi-final. End of story. I think they were third or something like that, right?
All right, guys. Yeah, you know what? We need to round up now. Honestly, this is very interesting. We will need to pick this up probably next time when we gather here and talk about our dreams for further dreams for not just for our countries but Africa as a whole. And obviously there's this disparity. There's some of them are actually far ahead now. We're talking about Morocco now. Morocco is suddenly turning into Brazil of Africa, turning into Switzerland of Africa. FIFA wants to have the head of it there.
They set up an office there, yeah.
They want to do that. Morocco is everything, and which is good for an African country. But again, what is happening to our sub-Saharan country? What is happening in Ghana? What's happening in Nigeria? What's happening? So those are the questions we would be posing to everyone that is listening today. And listen, guys, thank you for joining us today. Betty, I want to say a very big thank you for joining us at short notice.
Please add her to the group.
Yes, she's going to join us now and ongoing. Now, obviously, Charlie, again, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
You know what? It's been wonderful talking. Always wonderful talking about Afro Soka. And until you join us next time, my name is Graham. I do hope you enjoy the rest of the evening and have a very wonderful weekend. And like I always say, Afro Soka. Keep doing it. See you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.